All right, 75 through 78. Which table represents exponential? So remember, exponential is when you multiply, or we can say divide, but remember division is really multiplying by a fraction. So let's look at our tables. This one is just adding 1, so we know that that's linear, so that would not be exponential. This one is adding 22, so again, linear, not exponential. This one looks like it's adding 8. Again, linear, not exponential. This one is multiplying by 3. Another error is that this should actually be a 1. So the people have made an error, but D would be the closest correct answer. 76. A table of values is shown for f of x and g of x. Which statement compares them over the interval 0 to 5? So we're given the interval 0 to 5. All right. The graph of f of x always exceeds the graph of g of x. So let's see. 0 is greater, yep. 1 is greater, 4 is greater, 9 is greater, 16 is greater. Oh, look, now g of x is greater than f of x. So A would not be an option. The graph of g of x always exceeds the graph of f of x. Well, that's obviously not true because look, 5 is less than 9. These are all less than these. Okay. C, the graph of g of x exceeds the graph of x of f of x. So this exceeds this one from 0 to 4. But let's go ahead and check that. Well, that's not true because -1 is less than 1. And then this one says the graph of f of x exceeds the graph of g of x over 0 to 4, which is true because from 0 to 4, my f of x is always greater. And then at 4, 5, it intersects at a point, and then g of x is greater than f of x, which is true because we can see that 29 is now greater than 25. So D would be your option. 77. Which transformation of f of x, of h of x and p of x translate each unit or each function so both pass to the point 0, 1. So 0, 1. So we would actually need to move the quadratic up 1. So to move up, it's vertical, so it's going to be outside the box or outside the house. And then we need to move the exponential down 1. So we need to move down 1. So that's, let's see. Here's my moving up 1 for quadratic and my down 1 for exponential. In reality though, my function started off as this. If I went down 1, this would go away. And the true answer, the real answer, is that this would not be here. But again 77, they've made a mistake, but D would be our most appropriate option. 78. If f of 12 equals 4 times 12 minus 20, which gives us f of x. So let's replace, so instead of writing f of 12, I'm going to write f of x. So instead of writing 12 here, I'm going to write x. So that matches C. So C would be your answer.